I'm reviewing here! What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here! Episode. Did you hear that? Episode. My British came in. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Bussey, I am going to, oh my god, I am butchering this. This is so friggin' embarrassing. I'm going to go along with it. I am going to watch and review all of Sight and Sound's top greatest movies of all time. It's very, very fun. You know why I'm a little out of it tonight? I just had dinner. Like, I literally just had dinner, and it wasn't very good. It was a leftover. Have you ever made a huge meal? Like, a huge meal. It took you, like, 2 hours to make, and it comes out not very good. But then you, like, don't want to throw it out because you just spent all that money and you just want to save all that food. You know, it's like you don't want to just throw it out. So you make it as you put them in leftover, trays and containers and stuff. And then you eat them later, even though the meal's not good. Yeah, have you ever done that? You're basically force feeding yourself because you just feel guilt for throwing out food. That's me. That's my life. And that's what I just did tonight. And, yeah, I don't feel super good. So if you hear me throw up, I just want you to know that that's not a sound effect. That is me. I haven't used sound effects yet on this podcast. It's too much work. Anyway, yeah, what I had for dinner was a yuca Jamaican sweet potato pie. What is yuca? I have no idea. It looks like a piece of tree. I found it at Giant. Was it on sale? Yeah, it was on sale, I think. It's from the Veganomicon book. Veganomicon book is really good. They have really good recipes, but I didn't really like this one. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, this is very exciting. Okay, right off the bat, I'm a liar. Just need to confess that. I think in my last episode, and like if you follow me on social media, I said that this podcast was going to be 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I changed my mind. It's now going to be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I need to do that because, guys, there's a lot of movies, and if I keep this to 2 times a week, I did the math. This podcast would finish in 2025. I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Not because of the food, but because of 2025. Oh my god, do not even say that. It's like saying Voldemort. Oh, please stop. Yeah, anyway, I love doing this, but I cannot go that long because I had a bit of a panic attack when I thought about the fact that 2025 is 2 years from now. So in order to get this done a little earlier, I'm going to do 3 movie reviews a week. It's going to be more work, but, so yeah, I don't know if it's the worst idea in the world or a smart idea, because I'm already a very busy person, and, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I should get this done by next year, definitely, and, if I end up in the hospital, a few weeks after this from exhaustion, it's because of this, so then we'll know, and then we'll go back to 2 times a week, so, yeah, anyway. Welcome, though. This is going to be a fun episode. This movie that I'm reviewing today, what's the phrase? Rings true to my heart. Is that what they say? Yeah, it does. I'm going to be talking about a very famous American movie called Annie Hall.
A relationship, I think, is like a shark. It has to constantly move forward or it dies. And I think what we got on our hands is a dead shark.
Woody Allen.
I love what you're wearing.
Oh, you do? Yeah? Oh, well, this is Ty's present from Grammy Hall.
Who? Grammy Hall?
Yeah, my Grammy.
What are you kidding? What'd you do, grow up in a Norman Rockwell painting?
Diane Keaton.
You don't want me to live with you.
How I don't want you to live with me. Whose idea was it?
Mine.
Yeah. It was yours, actually, but I approved it immediately.
Tony Roberts.
The one with the VPL,
VPL.
visible panty line.
Yeah, she's a 10 max, and that's great for you because you're used to 2s, aren't you?
Carol Kane.
What's your name?
Allison?
You're like New York Jewish left-wing liberal intellectual, Central Park West, Brandeis University with the socialist summer camps, and the father with the Ben Shahn drawings, right? And the really, strike-oriented kind of. Stop me before I make a complete imbecile of myself.
No, that was wonderful. I love being reduced to a cultural stereotype.
Paul Simon.
We're gonna meet Jack and Angelica and have a drink there, and if you'd like to come, we'd love to have you. We can just sit and talk, nothing Not a big deal. It's just relax, just be very mellow.
I don't respond well to mellow. You know what I mean? I have a tendency to, if I get too mellow, I ripen and then rot.
Shelley Duvall.
I was at the Stones concert in Altamont when they killed that guy, remember?
Yeah, were you? I was at an Alice Cooper thing where 6 people were rushed to the hospital with bad vibes.
Janet Margolin. Colleen Dewhurst. Christopher Walken in the new Woody Allen film.
Were you always funny?
Hey, what is this, an interview? We're supposed to be making love.
Annie Hall.
No, that was the most fun I've ever had without laughing.
Annie Hall.
Yes, Annie Hall. Co-written and directed by a not at all controversial, canceled man in Hollywood by the name of Shmuddy Wallen. No, Woody Allen. All right, guys, let's all address the elephant in the room. Yes, Woody Allen stars in this movie, co-wrote this movie, directed this movie. This movie earned him 2 Oscars for Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. The movie also won for Best Picture and Best Actress. Woody Allen, I know, I hate talking about this, but I have to. Okay, if you don't read the news, here are the cliff notes. Woody Allen has been accused of his daughter of child molestation. Boom. Yeah, not at all heavy at all, am I right? Yeah, it's very serious. She made this allegation in 2014. Her mother, Mia Farrow, made the allegation in 1992, 1993, I think, and he was investigated by 2 separate child abuse clinics, and they found no evidence of any molestation charge or anything like that. Now, of course, was he just super rich and he kind of paid them off? Were they just enamored by him and they didn't do a good job? We don't know. But it is very serious. He's flat out denied it vehemently. But we're living in a society right now where cancel culture is very real. And if you are accused of something, boom, that's it. You're done. Your career's done. You're out. You're done. That's just kind of the world that we're living in. There's no real due process anymore. I know that's a controversial thing to say. It's great that we're having these movements, but there's it's a crazy world right now. I remember a few years ago when Steven Spielberg's West Side Story came out. The lead in the movie, Ansel Elgort. The year before that movie came out, an ex of his, went on Twitter and said Ansel Elgort raped me. And he, again, denied it and said, no, we were dating. I ghosted her when I broke up with her. I was a dick, but no, I did not rape her. He's kind of like a pariah right now. And when that movie came out, I mean, you go on social media. You still go on social media. If you type in Ansel Elgort, oh my God, there are death threats. There is negative, vitriolic crap spewed everywhere. And that kind of affected that movie. Anyway, okay, I'm getting a little off topic. But no, I have to just say this because this, Woody Allen, one of the most prolific American authors, writer, director, comedian, actors of the 20th century is, he's pretty much canceled in the United States because of this allegation. And there are other things, which I'll get into quickly, but he's done in the United States. Actors won't work with them. He just made his 50th movie in France. It's called Coup de Chance. It should be coming out probably later this year, but it stars an all-French cast because, if you're an actor in Hollywood and you want to work with him, your reputation is tarnished. It's just how it is right now. Anyway, let's rewind to when I was a kid. Okay. I had 2 favorite Woodies in my life, Woody Allen and Woody from Toy Story. I don't even know of any other Woodies. Woody Guthrie, isn't that someone? Isn't that like a hockey player? I forget. Yeah, Woody Allen and Woody from Toy Story. And I'll never forget the time in French class we were learning about l'imparfait. And I said to my teacher, when I was a kid, I used to get out my Woody and play with it. And then I realized what I'd said, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go. That came out really wrong. But, yeah, Woody from Toy Story. It has nothing to do with Woody Allen, though. But Woody friggin' Allen. I mean, look, when you're a film nerd, if you're a film nerd and you grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s and you wanted to just study film and study it until midnight, study it like crazy, you watched Woody Allen movies. I mean, Woody Allen is like one of the central reasons why I love what I love so much. I didn't say that in the first episode because, to drop that in the first episode might be a little bit, you might draw some people away because a lot of people hate Woody Allen, but it's true though. I was obsessed. I first saw Sleeper, one of his early movies. It came out before Annie Hall. I saw that when I was a kid and just immediately fell in love with his style, his dialogue, his characters, his settings, his themes, his all-star casts, the fact that he made a movie a year. I mean, that was just amazing. He made me want to go and buy an old typewriter and write stories. Just write. I loved all the big words he used, the characters used, that is. But, yeah, I was obsessed. I was absolutely obsessed. It's a few years ago, I was on Facebook, and a memory popped up from when I was in college, and my Facebook status was, gee, when I graduate college, you know what I want to do? I just want to move to New York City and be Woody Allen's personal assistant. Wink. Yeah, that's... that happened. And I looked at it, it got so many comments. It got so many, ah, ha, ha, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, great. And then, yeah, if you type that now, I'd get death threats. So, he's a problematic figure. Okay, Cliff Notes again, really quickly, and I'm already 12 minutes in, Jesus Christ. Cliff Notes about this allegation and why so many people hate him. If you don't know this man, if you're listening and you don't know any of this story, here's the very quick story that I'm going to try and explain, that is, and then I'll get into the movie, I swear. Okay, Woody Allen met Mia Farrow. They fell in love. They never got married. They never even lived together. But, they were together. She was his muse. She was in a ton of his movies in the 80s and early 90s. She adopted a whole bunch of kids, a whole bunch. Woody Allen cheated on Mia Farrow with one of her kids. Her name was Sun-Yi Previn. And allegedly, she was of age, but she was very young. Again, allegedly, she was of age, 21, I think. But there are differing reports. They may have started sleeping together when she was 18. I don't know. It's really weird. I mean, look, we've all been in relationship. We've all had relationship trouble. But, dude, of all the ways to get at your girlfriend, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway, look, they're still together, though. They've been together since. They got married. They have 2 kids now, 2 adopted kids as well. And, he went on and did his thing. But, right after this affair happened, Mia Farrow went to the police and said, he molested my other daughter, Dylan Farrow. Arrest him. He's a pedophile. She claims that after this affair with Sun-Yi, he came over to the house one afternoon when they were having this big party, took Dylan Farrow up to the basement and molested her. He has flat out denied it. He said, that's ridiculous. Why would I go to this place where everybody already hates me and then go and molest a kid? Are you kidding? Well, so it doesn't totally make logical sense when you think about it, but then that's why I think in the early 90s, the case got settled or whatever, and people went on with their lives, and some actors have never worked with him because of that, but a lot of actors did. He became super successful. I think the actors kind of thought, whatever, it's not our business. It's just not our business. We'll work with him. Cut to 2014, and his actual daughter, she's adopted, I think, but, Dylan Farrow, now a grown adult, came forward and said, no, it's all true. What my mom said was true. It really happened. Oh, boy. So it's very upsetting. Very upsetting. He sent out a statement saying, nope, it's wrong. Mia Farrow's son is Ronan Farrow. He said, nope, I believe my mom. I believe it happened. Her other son, Moses Farrow, has actually left the family and come forward with his own allegations, saying that Mia Farrow was an abusive mother and abused him and a bunch of his other Asian adopted siblings. And I think 2 or 3 of them, I might be wrong on this, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but two of them, I think, have committed suicide. It's a dysfunctional friggin' family. I mean, like, it's the whole thing is a mess, and I don't like talking about it because it gives me a headache. And the truth of the matter is that neither one of these parties are ever going to confess what really happened. They never will until the day they die. And you know, we take these allegations seriously, but that's where we're at. I have my own opinion about what I think really happened. I'm not going to say it. If you're listening, do your own research, read up about it, read both sides. It's a messy case. It's so messy, and it's very upsetting. But, you know, look, okay, I got that out of the way. I think the other thing, and I do need to talk about this, because, look, this is a controversial filmmaker. I know we're 16 minutes in already, but look, Woody Allen, I mean, in hindsight, you look back at a lot of his movies, and he's a great director. He's done a lot of classic movies. And yeah, as a kid, I was obsessed. Are you kidding me? As a kid, though, I did not notice 2 big problems in his movies. Okay, problem number 1. He never cast black people. Never. Like, never. Never cast them in leading roles. He cast Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think that's how you say his name. The guy from 12 Years a Slave, really good actor. He cast him as the lead in one of his movies called Melinda. And then he cast another actress, I forget her name, in his other movie, Deconstructing Harry. And she played a prostitute. I mean, like, what? He makes so many amazing roles for women. Why not cast, like, Viola Davis or Angela Bassett in a movie, you know? They would kill it. They would crush it. So many amazing actresses who have won Oscars from his movies. Mira Sorvino, Cate Blanchett, Penelope Cruz, Diane Keaton in this movie. I mean, so that's just weird. Is Woody Allen a racist? I don't know, but that's very, upsetting. I don't get it. He's like almost 90. He just made his 50th movie, and he still hasn't cast, black people in the leading roles. So that's just annoying. I think the other very upsetting thing, well, not necessarily upsetting, but just weird, is that, you look back at his movies, and pretty much almost every one of his movies, there's always a much older guy in a relationship with a super young, attractive, innocent woman. Nearly every one of his movies. That's the plot line. And it's consensual in the movies, usually. Don't count Manhattan. Manhattan is not on the Sight and Sound list, so we don't have to talk about that, thank God. But Manhattan, just Google it. Manhattan, not Manhattan, because then you're going to get pics of Manhattan. But just type in Manhattan 1979 controversy, and you'll see what that movie's about. But look, he lives in his own world, and that's why his movies nowadays, a lot of them are problematic. Does that mean that does that mean that his movies get canceled? No, I don't think so. This is why we have these movies. We can look at them and discuss them. And that's why I was really looking forward to rewatching Annie Hall. I love this movie with all my heart. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's been my favorite movie that I've watched already. I've seen this movie already, so I remember a lot of parts of it, but getting to just rewatch it from beginning to end, I think it's probably his best movie. It's a romance overall. It's a comedic romance. There's a lot of Jewish humor in it. There's a little bit of not really slapstick. I wouldn't really say that. I don't think it's his funniest movie ever made. I love early Woody Allen. Early Woody Allen, like Take the Money and Run and Sleeper and Bananas and like what's it called? Love and Death. Like they are crazy slapstick, like Marx Brothers sense of humor Woody Allen movies. And those are really funny. Annie Hall has a lot of funny moments. I just love it because of how romantic it is and how truthfully romantic it is. It's not your typical rom-com. It's not at all. It is also just my favorite movie because simply it is just so clever. Every bit of dialogue, every scene, every moment, everything in it is just perfect. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. If you have not seen it, I recommend it so much. Regardless of what you think about Woody Allen, I cannot recommend this enough. Also, the good thing is that in this movie, it's appropriate. There's no big, huge age gap differences in this, which is good at least. But so what's it about? Okay, Woody Allen and Diane Keaton are in it. They used to date before they made this movie, and she was already in two of his movies before this came out. So they dated and didn't work out, but they stayed really good friends, and their chemistry in this movie is just like, it's one of like my favorite couples ever. Alvy and I almost just said Diane, Annie. Yeah, that's her name in the movie. Duh. So like, I don't even really know. There's no easy way to describe Annie Hall because, like I said, it's not your typical rom-com. The movie is it's just basically a movie about a relationship between Alvy, played by Woody Allen, and Annie, played by Diane Keaton, and it's presented all out of order. It's not your romance movie where, you know, it starts off with the beginning, middle, and end of how they met, how it goes, and how does it end? Does it end happily with them, you know, kissing at the Statue of Liberty? Oh, no, it's not that type of movie at all. When this movie starts off, you know, Alvy is giving a little soliloquy at the beginning. He's talking to the camera, and he's already in a relationship with Annie, and he's talking about that. It cuts to, you know, a few scenes later and they're going to the movies together. And this is such a passionately made movie because, you know, I know this because, I mean, duh, Woody Allen, I like idolized him. I know what Woody Allen loves. He loves cinema. And you see this early on in the movie, like when they, Annie and Alvy go to the movies, and there's an Ingmar Bergman poster playing, you know, a movie there. And there's a poster in the background. Woody Allen loves Ingmar Bergman. Ingmar Bergman is on this list, and I cannot friggin' wait to rewatch some of his movies. But he loves movies, you know, so there's so much passion in this movie. I think that's why I love it the most. I think that's why it's resonated with so many people all these years later. Everybody, they want to go to New York and fall in love, you know? And that's what Annie Hall is. It's just like a love letter to New York, to romance, to the messiness of romance. But anyway, the movie's really out of order. It's got so many clever moments. There's so much breaking the fourth wall. Is it the third wall or the fourth wall? I think it's the fourth wall. There's so much of that. Like, characters will talk, and then they'll turn to the camera and talk to you, the audience member, you know? And it's really cleverly done. It's so funny. It's so clever too. You know, and in this movie, we see the ups and downs of their relationship. You know, a little halfway through, it goes back to the very beginning of where they first meet, and they meet through friends at this what's a place called where you play tennis? Not a tennis resort. What is it? Like a YMCA? I don't know. They meet there, and you know, I should start off by saying that you know, Alvy is he's a very, very, like, over-the-top pessimistic human being. He thinks life is meaningless, the world is meaningless. There's a quote here I wrote: "The universe is expanding, but then it will break apart." He tells Annie at one point, life is divided into the horrible and the miserable. I mean, it's just like, yeah, typical Woody Allen character. That's the archetypal Woody Allen character. Someone who is obsessed with death and thinks life is meaningless and is super philosophical. Anyway, that's Alvy. I keep wanting to say Alvin, like Alvin and the Chipmunks. We meet Annie. You know, they meet at tennis. Annie is the most adorable person on the planet. She's ditzy. She speaks her mind. She has no filter at all. You know, the scene when they meet at tennis, it's like my favorite part in the movie, because she's trying so hard to flirt with him, and, you know, because she likes him, but she's so bad at flirting. And you know, it cuts to like the next scene, and they're at his her apartment, I think. Yeah. And they're on the deck trying to flirt with each other, and as they're talking, these subtitles come up that say what each character is really thinking, and it's really I keep using the word clever, but I think that's one of the the good things. One of the, I think, the best, most romantic things about Annie Hall is this. Alvy and Annie, they aren't right for each other, but they are right for each other. We learn the more we watch them that they aren't right for each other because there's just things that they don't really agree with. That's okay in relationships. You can have that, but at some there's to an extent though. I mean, Alvy is a little annoying. I mean, it's like, dude, calm down with the negativity and the pessimism, She is, she thinks that he thinks that she's stupid and she needs to get a college education, and they fight about that a lot. And, she wants to move to Los Angeles. He doesn't. But they're crazy about each other. Like, they break up and then they make up. And, there's a great moment where they have just broken up, and then she invites him over to her place in the middle of the night, and it's because she wants him to kill a spider in the bathroom, and then she breaks down and just goes, I miss you, I miss you, I'm sorry. And that's the thing though, and I think it's kind of like the tragic thing about Annie Hall, which is what I like, is that it's not your typical romance. They're so right for each other, but they're not, There's another scene where they're in therapy, and it's a 2-shot, split screen, and it shows each of them in therapy, and they both seem so different, and like they're talking about each other's, like their relationship, and they're both saying the exact same thing about each other, So it's like they're not good for each other, but they are. And but then it's like they don't end up together. And when I first saw this movie when I was a kid, I didn't really like it, to be honest, because I'd heard so much about it, and they don't even end up together. And I remember feeling a little bit let down. But I think now, being an adult, I was going to joke and say being more depressed, but I'm just kidding. I'm not depressed about like relationships and everything. But I think that's rewatching Annie Hall in your 30s, it really gives you that perspective that, geez, relationships are messy and they are just so bizarre sometimes. Two people can seem great for each other, and they are great for each other, but something just isn't quite there. And that's, the beauty and the tragedy, I think, of Alvy and Annie's relationship in Annie Hall. Yeah. I loved it. I'm still like a little, this isn't just the yucca potato, sweet potato pie. That's not why I'm taking long breaks. It's, I just loved it. It hits me so much. There's a scene in this movie, wow, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I have no filter. I'm like Annie, I have no filter. It's such a great moment. Annie and Alvy, they've been on dates before and they haven't kissed yet, and they're walking back to, I think, Annie's place at night and in New York, and no one's around. And Alvy, in like the most Woody Allen voice ever, just is like, look, okay, like, it's getting awkward now. Like, let's just kiss, okay? Like, we both want to. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's break the ice, get that out of the way, and then we'll see what happens next, And they do it. And you want to hear a funny story? One of the first girls, it wasn't the first, one of the first girls I ever, like, made out with, I said that line to. Yeah, I did. I didn't say it in the Woody Allen voice, but I did go, okay, you know what? It's weird. Let's just kiss. come on. Like, dates are awkward. This is awkward. We don't know if we like each other. Let's just kiss. Let's just do it. Let's do it. And once we do it, the kiss, that is, then let's see what happens next. And I love that line in that movie. And, because that's so accurate. Like, dating is so awkward, and when you like someone and you feel like they like them back, and you're like, oh god, oh crap, oh shit, do I need to kiss them? Oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You think about that. There's a lot in this movie that's relatable. I think, what I also love is how it's not a dramatic breakup romantic movie. Like Annie and Alvy, they have the most gentle breakups ever. When they break up one time in the movie, they're on a plane and you heard this in the trailer in the very beginning, you know, they're on a plane, and Annie turns to him and just goes, Alvy, this relationship, I don't think it's working. And then Alvy just goes, yeah, I know. How though? Like, how? That's a shame. Their reactions are so calm. It's not a what? I love you though. It's none of that. It's just that's what I just love about these characters so much. And I think the fact that they dated in real life and they're still friends to this day, that shows why, you know, this will forever be, regardless of Woody Allen's reputation, this will forever be one of the most romantic movies ever made. It's great. Also, a lot of cameos I forgot are in this. Carol Kane, Shelley Duvall, Christopher Walken. He's really funny in this. Jeff Goldblum is in this movie. He's in one quick shot. Sigourney Weaver is in this movie. Has a cameo at the end, and I did not see her. I gotta go back and see that part. I'll Google it. There's so much more I could talk about this. So many more things I could talk about this movie, about the scenes, about the dialogue. I mean, that's the other thing. That's the main reason why I loved Woody Allen growing up, is the dialogue. I just love the dialogue. People say it's not realistic. People say, oh, it's pretentious. I don't think it's pretentious. I think it's Woody Allen dialogue. It's his art. It's his movie. It's his baby. It's how, you know, people talk in his movie. He did a movie a few years ago that came out after he came out. Not really exactly. It was after he was canceled. A Rainy Day in New York with Timothée Chalamet. That's how you say his name. It's not Timothy Chalamet. It's Timothée. He's French. Elle Fanning, Selena Gomez, Jude Law. It did come out in the States, but it didn't get any press or anything because, you know, it was made right when the Me Too movement was happening. So, you know, Selena Gomez saying, I'm happy to have worked with Woody Allen. Are you kidding? She'd be done. She'd be canceled. She'd be done. Yeah, why am I saying this? Oh, yeah, because dialogue. You know, that's a movie. Critics hated it. I actually really enjoyed it. There is an inappropriate huge age gap though, with Elle Fanning, which is like, and not one, but three other men in the movie. But, the dialogue in that movie, you know, it's all about college students, and they're all talking like Woody Allen. Like, there's a moment that sticks with me where in the beginning, Timothée Chalamet's character goes, my mother is apoplectic that I'm not going to go see her. Apoplectic. If you went to college, have you ever actually used that word, apoplectic? Really? I mean, so that's why critics were like, I hate it. And also just, you know, because they have their own issue with Woody Allen, which I get. But, you know, that's why I say that because it's like that in all of his movies. If you haven't seen a lot of Woody Allen movies, the dialogue, and if you haven't read any of his books, I mean, I have to pause when I read his books and Google what the hell these words mean. Vituperative? What? Yeah. I think I used that in a blog post once. It was fun. I think we're at the end, guys. This was a fun one. I know I spent a lot of this talking about Woody Allen and this really upsetting allegation, you know, but we have to. And look, there's going to be a lot more controversial filmmakers probably on this list. There is a Roman Polanski movie coming up. Oh yeah, get ready for that. I'll just say this. I mean, do your research and then make up your mind. But I'll also say this as well as a follow-up. You know, Annie Hall is a classic. And I highly recommend it. I think for anyone who's been in a relationship, anyone who just loves cinema and just loves quick dialogue and funny moments. And Diane Keaton. I didn't even talk about Diane Keaton. Crap, and we're out of time. Diane Keaton is this movie. She won Best Actress, and I wish she won separate Oscars for the same performance because she is so friggin' amazing in this movie. She is like my dream girl in this movie. Like, beautiful, adorably cute, adorably ditzy, adorably, like, flawed in a way, you know. I mean, Annie's not perfect, like Alvy, but she's just great, you know, and the outfits, trivia, I didn't really get into any trivia, but, you know, all these outfits that Annie wears in the movie were Diane Keaton's actual clothes, you know, that her clothing in it is iconic. And you know, I also read, like, this isn't even one of Woody Allen's favorite movies. He doesn't really consider it one of his favorites, but it's not, I don't know if it's my favorite. I may have said that in the beginning of this episode, but I have a lot of favorite Woody Allen movies. Match Point, Midnight in Paris, Manhattan Murder Mystery, The Purple Rose of Cairo. Oh my god, I could go on. I could go on. I know it's inappropriate and weird, but Manhattan, I love Manhattan for the cinematography and I love Mariel Hemingway in that movie. Okay, let's ignore her role in the movie and her character, but her performance in that movie is just so good. So, okay, I'll shut up now. Annie Hall, though, highly recommend, guys. Highly, highly recommend. I will see you in 2 days. And where can you watch Annie Hall? Annie Hall, yeah, I forgot to say this about the last movie too, Sullivan's Travels. Sullivan's Travels you have to rent. It's not available to stream anywhere. Annie Hall, you basically have to rent unless you have Max. Not HBO Max, but Max, which I don't think exists anymore. So I went on Hulu because it said it was for free, and then it said you have to have a Max subscription. What? What the hell is that? So, if you do rent it, just do it. Just watch it. Be moved. If you hate Woody Allen, Diane Keaton's in it, and she is going... I wanted to, like, hug my TV screen watching this. Actually, my computer, because I watch it on my computer. Alright, that's all. I'll shut up now. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to I'm Reviewing Here. Got a lot more exciting movies on the way. Adios. Woo!